So you've likely heard the terms Capitol Hill or the Hill or on the Hill many times when someone is referring to Congress. But did you know that a majority of Capitol Hill is actually a gorgeous, very desirable residential neighborhood? And what makes it one of the most attractive neighborhoods in the city has very little to do with Congress or the Hill. You see, this beautiful neighborhood offers a unique blend of historic charm, vibrant community life, and urban convenience. It is known by locals for its iconic row houses, tree-lined streets, and brick sidewalks. The neighborhood feels like a step back in time, but with modern features. Its close-knit community is a major draw, with Eastern Market serving as a lively hub for fresh produce and artisan goods and social gatherings. Residents love the neighborhood's walkability with easy access to parks like Lincoln Park, top-tier schools, and local dining options along Barracks Row and Pennsylvania Avenue. Families appreciate the family-friendly atmosphere, while professionals love the neighborhood's charm and energy Capitol Hill offers. Most people say it's a harmonious balance between the past and the present, making it one of DC's most beloved and sought-after neighborhoods. The proximity to landmarks such as the U.S. Capitol, Supreme Court, and the Library of Congress creates a sense of connection to the heart of the nation's history and governance. However, are there downsides to living there? What is it actually like to live in Capitol Hill? And is it built on a hill? Today, I'm answering all those questions while revealing the pros and cons of living in the Capitol Hill neighborhood of Washington, D.C., and I'm doing it right now. Okay, let's start with pro number one, and that's historic charm. People are drawn to Capitol Hill for its unique character, quality of life, and the stunning architecture. Longtime preservation efforts have created a really picturesque and timeless neighborhood. Expect to find a mix of styles. You'll see federal style with the symmetrical brick facades. You also see a lot of Victorian row houses with tall windows, intricate cornices, and bay windows. Capitol Hill was originally built in the 1880s, and of course, over time, most homes have been upgraded. However, you'll often also see that many of the original interior features remain, like original hardwood floors, high ceilings, original fireplaces and staircases with the carved wooden newel post and balusters. At the same time, some homes have been completely modernized. Capitol Hill has many beautiful historic streetscapes with mature tree-lined avenues, brick sidewalks, and some historic gas lamp style streetlights. If you're looking at 2 to 3 bedrooms, you're gonna find either low to mid-rise condo buildings or townhouses. Actually, you'll often hear me call townhouses row houses here in the city. It doesn't necessarily mean there are a row of them and they all look alike. It's just the term often more used in the city. Most of these are going to be 2-story federals and Victorians. Some will have front porches. If you're looking for 3 to 4 bedrooms, expect to find beautiful 2 to 3-story row houses. Many will have the original woodworking throughout the foyers, and hardwood floors will be preserved. A lot of time you'll see older layouts, which means not as many bathrooms, but equally as many have been updated over the decades as well. Unlike modern layouts, historic homes in Capitol Hill often have quirky little floor plans with nooks and crannies and additions that reflect centuries of changing needs. And then some homes have been fully renovated with modern layouts and modern bathrooms and large closets and updated kitchens and bathrooms. With block after block of 19th century row houses and buildings, though, the historic charm in Capitol Hill is a big pro. Okay, pro number 2 is actually 2 things: Eastern Market and Barracks Row. Capitol Hill has a nice variety of bars, restaurants, cafes, and independent shops, which are predominantly focused at Eastern Market and Barracks Row. Eastern Market is a public market in a small little community. The center of it is a 19th century brick building, which has indoor vendors like fresh fruit and flowers. There's a little cafe in there as well. It's a very charming place. On the weekends, they have an outdoor market with local craft vendors. And then the rest of Eastern Market is like a little small downtown. So expect to see restaurants, boutique shops, and a Trader Joe's there. There's also a metro station at Eastern Market. The Metro Rail can take you to 97 other stations throughout the entire Washington, D.C. area. And then to the south, you have Barracks Row, which is a 3-block commercial area on A Street. It connects Capitol Hill with Navy Yard, which is the neighborhood just to the south of Capitol Hill. Barracks Row happens to be the first commercial center in D.C. It dates back to 1799 when the Navy used to have a large presence in D.C. It got its name from the Marine Corps barracks that were built there to protect the Navy Yard. There are some great restaurants like Ambar and Rose's Luxury, and a few places that have really nice rooftop bars as well. There are several other boutiques and shops along Barracks Row as well. Okay, this brings us to con number 1, and that is there are a limited number of large retail stores in Capitol Hill. Mostly what you'll find are boutique shops and local markets. DC in general doesn't have a lot of big box stores, and they definitely are not in Capitol Hill. DC does have a Costco though, but it's a little further up north in the northern part of the city, and they do deliver. Capitol Hill does have a Trader Joe's and a very nice Safeway grocery store, and of course there's a CVS, but that's about as big of a retail store as you'll find there. There's a Whole Foods in nearby Navy Yard. It's very close by. But in general, you don't have large retail stores, which can be a con. However, honestly, I think a lot of people that live in Capitol Hill find this very charming part of the neighborhood. By the way, my name is Brad. I'm a local real estate agent. I spent over 25 years living in the DC area, including DC, Maryland, and Virginia, so I know the region well. With so many great options in this area, it can be hard to know where to start. I love helping clients discover all the amazing things the Washington, D.C. area has to offer, while also helping them avoid the pitfalls and choose the right city or neighborhood for them. If you're considering moving to the DC area, hit subscribe and join me here every week as I dive into everything you need to know about living, working, and thriving in this incredible region. It doesn't matter if you're moving next week, next month, or next year. Click the link in the description below to set up a Zoom call to get started. Next up is pro number 3, and that is its central location. Capitol Hill is located in the heart of DC. You see, DC has 4 quadrants. You have Northwest, Northeast, Southwest, and Southeast. Capitol Hill is in the Northeast quadrant, but if you see its location on the map, it's actually pretty centrally located. So it's just to the east of downtown, the Capitol, and most of the mall where most of the monuments are located. To the south of Capitol Hill, you have the Navy Yard, which is a newer up-and-coming neighborhood. To the north, you have 8th Street Corridor, and to the east, you have Hill East. Capitol Hill is not far from DC's other popular neighborhoods like Georgetown, DuPont Circle, and Logan Circle. And its central location makes it very easy to travel by metro rail, by car, on foot, and it does this while maintaining a very residential feel. This leads us nicely into the next pro, and that is transportation. Walkscore.com rates Capitol Hill with an 85 out of 100. It gives it a near perfect bike score of 98 and a transportation score of 79. The closer you live to Eastern Market or Barracks Row, that walk score is going to go up for you. DC is very bike friendly, so it's no surprise that it has such a high rating of 98. The city has 108 miles of bike lanes within the city, including 30 miles of protected bike lanes. You also have 3 metro rail stations. You have Capitol South, Eastern Market, and Union Station. Also, Amtrak runs out of the gorgeous Union Station, which is located in Capitol Hill. This is the more pleasurable way to travel when going to, say, New York City or Philly or Baltimore, at least in my opinion. Also, Capitol Hill has direct access to highways like 695 and 395 to take you to other parts of the Washington, D.C. area. Okay, next up is another con that you will hear from time to time around Capitol Hill, and that is tourists. Part of Capitol Hill technically includes popular tourist destinations like the U.S. Capitol, the Supreme Court, and the Library of Congress. Yes, D.C. does get millions of tourists every year. That tourism is year-round, but it's heaviest in the summer. The good news is that mostly these tourist areas are in a small part of Capitol Hill and typically not in the residential areas. You will experience tourism traffic as you head out of Capitol Hill into downtown towards the White House area. This area does see heavy traffic in the summer. However, they're mostly from buses. Typically the most traffic you'll see are from pedestrians. Okay, here's a question that I occasionally get. Is Capitol Hill built on a hill? Well, kind of. When the U.S. Capitol was built in 1793, it was constructed on top of what used to be called Jenkins Hill, which later changed its name to Capitol Hill. So when you hear the term the hill, it's referring to the U.S. Capitol area. However, the residential portion of Capitol Hill, which is what we've been talking about today, is fairly flat. Pro number 5 is living in history. Living in the Capitol Hill means you are steps away from iconic sites like the U.S. Capitol, Supreme Court, and the Library of Congress, which all reflect the architectural grandeur of the city. Not to mention the decisions that have been made there, decisions that shaped our country. For me, I never tire of riding my bike or taking a run in this area. Many homes in the Capitol Hill area have been occupied by notable figures, from artists to writers to politicians or authors, giving residents the feeling of living in a piece of American history. While it continues to include some members of Congress, however, it's predominantly a diverse set of residents, from longtime residents to young professionals, families, and newcomers from across the globe. Capitol Hill has long been one of the oldest and most popular neighborhoods in Washington, D.C., and its historic charm has been well maintained, from historic buildings, churches, markets, to block after block of historic homes. The Library of Congress is a stunning building, which still operates as a library today. They also host happy hours where you can enjoy food and drink while browsing some of its amazing architecture. I highly recommend you taking a tour of the building or just stop by for one of their happy hours. The architecture inside the building is quite stunning. Okay, We've talked about the historic charm, Eastern Market, Barracks Row, the limited number of large retail stores, its central location and transportation options. We talked about the tourists and the history. Look, I know you'll likely have questions. My contact information below is in the description. Also see my other videos on Capitol Hill and the other neighborhoods inside DC and cities around the Washington, DC area. Thanks for watching. I will see you on the next one.